Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons. I like how the portal just spawned in there, and spoilers, yep, I've come to a decision. We're going to go to Sergeant Byrd's base, because it has music that recurs somewhere else very local, and I want to keep those episodes fairly far apart just so that we don't have repetitosity. You know, repetitosity.
I have to train the hummingbirds. They must be in peak physical condition if we're going to take on the sorceress.
So I mentioned how much I like Sergeant Byrd. There's an extra bit of humour to this level as well, and I'll just let the hummingbird introduce herself. How about that?
Sir, the situation is this. Yesterday at 1845 hours, the Rhinox invaded. We defended as best we could, sir, but without your leadership, we didn't put up an effective resistance. By 1900 hours, the rest of the squad was captured and the Rhinox had complete control of the base.
So, kind of British military humour there. Also, circle button to fire. It alternates between Sergeant Byrd's left and right shoulders where each missile comes from. But yeah, British military humour. The French didn't last 15 minutes without the help of a Brit. In air quotes, because Sergeant Byrd.
Thank you, sir.
So yes, all the hummingbirds are French, and that's kind of the joke here, which is cruel, but that is in accordance with kind of, like, that's historically accurate in terms of how the British perceive themselves as a military force, so I'm choosing not to be offended. Anyway, friend, do you have things to say?
Recommend you take the enemy out with your rockets by pressing the circle button, sir.
I'm not going to see every single whip tutorial because we know how this works. Also, that enemy there, that was the one that, well, not that exact one obviously, but that was the species that got turned into Buzz. Now, there was a gem back here we got. I'd wanted to make absolutely certain because it's easy to miss. Also, what kind of noise is that for an enemy style? Like, that's not, oh no, I just got hit in the face with a rocket. That's, oh, those darn kids just kicked their football into my garden again. Oh! That. Now, you might wonder why I'm not bothering to shoot that reinforced container. Well, you can't... I mean, you can try, but it won't break open. You need something stronger. You need something stronger than missiles to break those chests. So, just be aware of that. Also, take a note if you're doing a low % run.
Sir, I've captured the enemy rations. They won't march far on an empty stomach.
I believe it's not possible to get through this level without getting this egg as well. So, like, you could leave some enemies intact in previous rooms and go on ahead, because of course...
Sir, the Rhinox have blocked the way out of this next cave with a security door, and I don't think you'll be able to blast your way through this one. Recommend you land on the weights and carry them to the pressure-sensitive security switches either side of the door. When in position, press the square button to drop the weight. Press the triangle button once to look down, press it again to look up, sir.
When they say up, that just means the way the camera was previously. So yes, when flying, just press triangle to look down and then triangle to unlook down, is sort of a better way of putting that. So, the circle button fires, the square button drops things that you're holding. Now, the thing with these weights they don't tell you is don't bother using the triangle button to look down, just the weights will pop into place like that. So, just get roughly in the right place. But yes, if you're doing a low % run, you could leave the enemies intact because, like, the hummingbird AI, as any, like, friendly NPC AI, will tell it, oh, there are enemies ahead, don't try to pass through this area. But then you wouldn't be able to get the egg for beating the level because, of course, the hummingbird would be, like, less than halfway through the level, and, of course, the hummingbird needs to be at the end. Now, you might notice that thing down there, that thing that keeps popping in and out of the ground, and there's one up there as well. You might be able to infer they're just for a skill point. You can't, well, I say you can't. You technically can shoot them with missiles, but it's very difficult. That's sort of not the idea. We're going to get a weapon later on in this same level that will allow us to use the square button to do some damage-dealing shooty nonsense. Well, not shooty, but, well, you'll see. Spoiler alert, it's the same thing that lets us break open the reinforced chest in the other room. Another friend, you're welcome.
Request permission to cheer, sir. Hip hip hooray!
For all of the mixed sentiment between, you know, the military humour and the Britain and the France and stuff, I've never disliked the hummingbirds. I don't actually have a problem with France in general. I'm just saying, as a Brit, I'm expected to have an opinion on this, and I don't. I'm probably talking myself into all flavours of political holes here, but you know, I'm just going to grab a quick healy, even though, like, this isn't a difficult level by any means, but there are some enemies coming up that they make another strange death noise, because, like, this isn't a death throw at all. They just sort of make a noise, and that's kind of it. Now, you might notice there is a small amount of homing on Sergeant Byrd's missiles, which is good and helpful, because otherwise you have to be stupeticulously precise with every single shot, and that wouldn't be a good time, so just be grateful. And also be aware that there are these balloon vases in basically every room. Not every room, but be on the lookout for them if you think you're missing gems, because, as I recall, there's like a fuck ton of gems in it. I was just going to take that hit, I don't even care. There are a fuck ton of gems in the Midday Garden levels in general, except there's no reason why that should be, because, like, I looked at the atlas before, and it didn't seem like this had an egregiously large number of collectibles as a homeworld, but whatever, just collect gems. That's kind of the purpose, and this will just be a tutorial, so what I'm going to do now is actually take this and head backwards, because we were looking for a fresh weapon, and we have one here. Now, this is a good time to use the triangle button, because if you look straight down, wait for the thing to spawn when you're sufficiently high above. Excuse you, can you spawn please? Thank you. And similar to the TNT crates in Icy Peak, they have an area of effect. So, also it's rather helpful that the hole also despawns when you kill the thing. I think they're gophers. I don't really know if we have a word for them, like, if I can be more precise, because gopher feels like an American word. So, I don't know. Groundhog. Fuck tipple. Tinky pronk. At least one of those sounds like it could be misconstrued as a racial thing, and it's not racist, it's speciesist, but then again, if you speak of the human race, then I guess species is race, I don't know, furries. I'm gonna go back and get some more missiles, and I'll see you back here, because there's more to be done. Now, I believe there aren't any gophers or what have you in the preceding rooms, but yeah, you're gonna want to spam as many bombs as possible there, because the whole point of having that reinforced chest there is to get you to drop a bomb here, and it is possible to hit the chest without hitting the floor, because there's no indication on the floor itself that it's a breakable floor, and so if you don't, like, if you break the chest without breaking the floor, you might not even realize there's anything here. But yeah, it's a secret room! Yum! This is probably the last Homeworld that most people collect.
I'm ready to be debriefed, sir.
Debriefing. I remember that from when I studied TV at university. We would do TV things, and then we would be debriefed. Anyway, I'm going to see you back in the main room, which we can see from here, by the way. Like, this window is your only clue that there's a secret place you should be looking for, and because it's an underground secret passage, there's no real indicator of where it is if you missed the reinforced chest. Anyway, now, you might well feel that, well, there you go, that there's proof that you can actually kill the gophers with your missiles, which is helpful, but just because using the drop the missiles from above technique is kind of cumbersome, because you can only carry 4 at a time, and oh.
Mission accomplished. It's great to have you back, sir.
As long as you clear out, if you clear enemies out of her path, she'll just go straight to wherever and you'll be teleported to, which is good because I was about to get hit in the face by a projectile, so, egg, I will take it. Ryan Lee. With a capital letter in the middle of the name for some reason. Also, Siegfried earlier. As a child, I pronounced it Siegfried, or Siegfried, or something, because I thought it was an egg joke. It probably is anyway, just based on spelling rather than pronunciation. So, yeah, you might feel that Sergeant Byrd is a bit clunky to control. Some people feel that way, some people don't. I don't really have any strong opinions. Like, I've never minded Sergeant Byrd. I like the free-flying aspect of just this. You know, he controls sufficiently differently from Spyro that I feel it's acceptable, because some people find him to be a bit slow, a bit sluggish, and I get that. His controls are a bit, not wonky, but maybe a bit on the floaty side. Also, just while we're here, first of all, there's no friendly fire from your own drop-the-bomb missiles, and also, that cage there, I'm deliberately ignoring it for the moment, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to ignore it forever, because of course there's an egg attached to that mission, and so we must collect egg. But I thought, as a child, that you had to shoot those cages in order to open them, and what didn't help was there is sort of positive feedback for doing that, in that the cages do swing back and forth, they do react to being blown up with one of Sergeant Byrd's missiles. And because they open based on proximity, I thought, oh, I need to shoot it, and the fact that it would rock back and forth and then also open as I got close didn't really help my prejudices on how to do thing. Also, I don't think you can recollect. Yeah, no. For some reason, you can't restock your drop bomb missiles unless you've unless you've used them all up. So be aware. And oh yes, as a child, it never occurred to me that these were, well, it took me a while to figure out anyway, that these missiles you can collect by, like, landing on them. That's how you're supposed to do it. Because I tried walking into them and, oh, well, they're not. They're not. Like, I'm not magically collecting them by walking into them, therefore, clearly I can't collect them. Test logic. Circa the early 2000s. I don't even remember when I first played this game. It was roughly close to its release. Was that the last one? It would appear not. I don't remember where all the gophers are. I just know that they are a skill point flavor. You stop existing. Is there one over here? There is not. But yeah, this is that window we were looking at before, where through there is the other side of the secret passage. It's funny how each of the hummingbirds we rescue from that, they just sort of hang around next to the cage they were confined in, so almost what's the difference? You know, like, why did you need me to get you out of a cage that you're just going to chill inside anyway? It's almost a weirdly, like, profound ethical question. You know, is it just about attaining freedom on your own terms? Or is there some deeper meaning to the caged bird singing and, oh, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a cubicle? I can't imagine a situation in which it would be favorable to lick a cubicle, come to think of it. Like, people do clothing things in those, amongst other flavors of change technique. I've had a whole floaf spill over the side by the look of it. Yeah, but it's a single gem, whatever. Spawn so I can murder you with a bomb. Really? Yeah, there we go. I was gonna say, how could it not be the last one? Also, I think I showed earlier, but yeah, if you just spam the square button, then you can just drop a whole barrage at once, so... Why is it that in English, and I'm talking about English here, why is it we pronounce garage, but barrage, barrage? As like, we say barrage as opposed to barrage as Americans do, but we don't say barrage. Like, in either case, it's just butchering a French word. Also, if you just hold X, you can stay as high as possible in this cavern. That means that most of the fire jets can't hurt you. Most, but not all. And this is kind of why I held off on that other cage, because there's one in here, and knees.
What are your orders, sir?
Keep being fabulous. Now I'll see you by that other cage just because this is kind of out of the way and I wanted an excuse to cut back. Now, according to official Spyro lore, for whatever that's worth, Sergeant Byrd is the world's only flying penguin, right?
Before I was captured, I recovered this egg from the enemy, sir.
And okay, fair enough. In the same way that Sheila is like the rare species of the alpine kangaroo. We have another modesty, I forgot about that. Precious. And now we're done here. We have finished level. But being a penguin, Sergeant Byrd, why is there lava in your home world? That seems counterproductive. You are a penguin. You live where it's cold.
We should help her.
You're kidding, right? She nearly toasted you.
Yeah, but she was aiming at you. No problem.
It's a good thing for you Hunter was around.
I can look after myself.
Oh, sure you can.
Would you like me to show you?
Out of magic, huh? How about I give you a jump start?
Ha! I'll deal with you later.
Hey, why'd you have to scare her off?
How cute. This was my first experience as a child of the word tussle, and even then I wasn't entirely sure what it meant. I also saw it in Banjo Pilot. There's a multiplayer level called Temple Tussle, and for some reason I thought of either tassels or nipple tassels. Don't ask why my child self was familiar with nipple tassels. Anyway, we've unlocked Sergeant Byrd, so I'm going to go back and meet you in Molten Crater, because we have the opportunity to finally finish off Sunrise Spring for good, and also, by the way, we have a thing over here.
If you can bring back one person from each of our 5 worlds, we can help you use the whirligig.
Yep, we have a different mode of transport for every Homeworld passing. We had a balloon, now we have a whirligig. And note, by the way, he has an idle animation and a burning animation. Sergeant Byrd just kind of T-poses. Like, he has no animation, he just sits there. Okay, he does rock back and forth a little bit, I think. Yeah, he breathes, but that's it. Anyway, I'll see you in Molten Crater. Even though he really should be here working on the whirligig, but I'm sure we can borrow him for a bit.
Hello, Spyro. I'm just off to the Tiki Lodge for some R&R.
This was my first time experiencing the phrase R&R as well, and I had to ask my mother what it meant. Or possibly my father, I don't remember.
I'm playing a game of hide-and-seek with my friends. If I can't find where they've hidden their heads, they won't let me join the Tiki Lodge. Help me put them back together, and I'll make you an honorary member.
Now, because this is a Sergeant Byrd mission, it does take a bit of time to do. Just because. But once again, it's a case of land on top and carry around. And before you actually install any of the heads on any... You don't have to match them up, it's just... Also, it's difficult to let go of them sometimes. But yes, don't bring all the heads to one place, by all means, but don't actually put them on the bodies, because, there's a skill point. I'm not going to mince words. Also, those birds respawn, so... I love how Sergeant Byrd has kind of this rivalry with these other birds, like... We must attack toucans. Are they toucans? I can't tell. They are just birds that aren't Sergeant Byrd, therefore they must die. But they respawn, so... And why is it that Sergeant Byrd just has this affinity for places that lava? Because it's lava here, there's lava in his homeworld, and if you land too close to the tiki heads, then they will magnetize to their bodies, and... I don't remember where you have to put them for the skill point. I think it's just on any flat surface where they're all united, but I might have to fuff them around once I've collected them all, so be aware of that. Also, for some reason, Sergeant Byrd's rockets also home in on the heads, so try not to aim for those, otherwise you will aim at those. You feel me? Do you feel me? There's a balloon. I thought I saw one up there. Now, once again, because it's Sergeant Byrd, it's a bit slow, it's a bit floaty, some people would say tedious, and this room does, for completely unrelated reasons, remind me of the Water Temple from Ocarina of Time, and I'm not entirely sure why that should be, but there you go. Some people find this tedious, I do not. Do not pick up the heads again, sir. I believe you can drop them into the lava, but then they'll just respawn where they were originally found. Also, because of Sergeant Byrd's relative height or lack thereof, you can just walk under some of these fire jets, which... That's the other thing I was thinking. Like, lava, but also this particular brand of fire jet. Like, there it is, Homeworld, they're here, and now that we have the tiki head underneath us, the fire jets can now hurt you if you try to bounce underneath, because you have the added height of bird holding head. Head bird. Bird head. Pen, pineapple, apple, pen. I'm not sure how I feel about regular baskets that contain multiple gems like that. Like, I say that like I have a right to be offended by it or something, like, oh no, how dare you give me a lot of gem at once. Now, there is also a wall somewhere. Is it that one? It appears not to be. There's another... Why did I just... Okay, the controller vibrated. I lost control for a second. And Sergeant Byrd acted like he took damage, but then he didn't. So I have no idea what the fresh fluff just happened. But still. Oh, there we go. We've got all the gems of Molten Crater. Now, I'm fairly sure there is a secret wall somewhere that we need to blow open, which might be attached to another skill point, but I don't remember where it is. I'm fairly sure it's obvious to see, similar to the one we found in the race course, but still. Maybe that's not where those go. Hang on, I want to find the crack. There we go, there's the crack. Oh, there's just an egg. That's it, there's an egg in there. It's not a skill point. Hadoy. Luna, do you love goodly? Maybe I didn't need to bring the heads up to that platform. Well, bear with while I bring them down, then. There you go, they start bouncing around and you get a skill point. That was entirely worth the hassle. And then they stop and then you're free to just sort of finish the level. So, that sure was a thing. I'm not sure whether to speed this up or keep talking. Now this is once again one of those things where I believe you can just sort of land on it and you don't need to worry about dropping... Yeah, you could just sort of bounce around the head until it locks into place. You don't need to worry about like lining yourself up perfectly and dropping with a square button after aiming with a triangle button. It's fairly lenient, as you can sort of tell. So, genuinely curious, anyone out there who has played this game before, how do y'all feel about Sergeant Byrd? And also those who haven't, just those who have only seen what I've been playing here, or whatever. If you've never played the games but you're otherwise familiar, what do you think of Sergeant Byrd? You know, sluggish, fun, good, bad, whatever. Ah. Again, got hurt, didn't take damage. But obviously, you don't want to get hit by the birds because then you'll drop the head, and if the head falls in lava, it'll respawn where it first appeared, so... We did it! Yum!
Take this egg as a sign of your honorary membership in the lodge.
So is this the inside of the lodge then? Oh, we've got another Ryan, this time just Ryan. Well, there we go. We are now done.
Well, that's never happened before. I hope it's not a bad omen.
Sometimes they talk about the eggs hatching, but there we go. We have now finished Molten Crater, so we're done. We have finished Sunrise Spring. And I just wanted to show this screen just to show the treasure coming out of there and into here. Now we have a nice round number of treasure again, and it's totally not going to last because, as I've said, with 1.5 exceptions, with each animal buddy, they have a section in a level in the homeworld they're found, plus one in the world before and one in the world after. So there's a Sergeant Byrd level in the next homeworld, and there's a Sheila level in Midday Garden somewhere. And also, there's going to be a section of a level from our next animal buddy somewhere in Midday Garden, so we're going to have some fucky gem totals in the near future, but for now, at least, everything's fine and good. So, I have been, and will continue to be, Tessellating Hexagons, and once again, I'm going to dive into this water to end the episode. Good knees.